Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you a super instructive puzzle that I found on Discord through someone named Phil. So it's white to move here, and the goal is to find the one winning move in this position. Believe it or not, there's only one move that wins. You might think there was more than one, but in fact there's only one. Okay, so take a second, see if you can try to solve this puzzle on your own. I recommend maybe 30 seconds, try to think about it, see how far you can get, and see if you can assign the reasons for the various moves. Okay, while you're thinking about that, let me just quickly encourage you to subscribe if you have not yet already. Half of the income that I earn this channel goes directly to charity, so every like, every subscriber helps me out so much. Okay, let's get to it now. So let's just look at the position. You have a black king, queen, and knight all on this 8th rank. And if you're like me, the first thing you noticed is that this king and queen are on the same rank, the 8th rank. So my goal is to see if I can exploit this knight because of this pin. So immediately my thought was, let's move this queen to a square that attacks this knight. So, okay, let's talk about that. A4, B5, E6, E3. You don't really want to attack the knight from a square like this because you can get captured, but you get the idea. So what else could I do? It seems like those are the main candidates, right? Well, that gives us 4 options. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Of those 4 options, only one of them is correct. And this is kind of the critical thing. You have to see if you can understand why one of them is correct and the others are not. And it's the good principle to think about in your own game. So see if you can figure out what one of those moves has that the other 3 do not. Okay, let's start with what appears to be the most active looking move. That is E6. So if queen E6, it looks like you're winning this knight straight away, right? 2 attackers. The rook cannot do anything to defend this knight. So what's the way out of this for black? Surprisingly, black actually wins in this position. Now why? What is that? How? Okay, let's talk about it. Rook H2 check is a killer move. Bang. Now you pretty much have to take this. We'll talk about what happens if you don't. But if you take this, queen F4, and look what happens. All of a sudden, the attack is now shifting. The queen is forking the king and the rook. And after the king moves, you take the rook. What if the king does not capture? Let's say the king goes to G3, for example. Well, now, incredibly, the best move, there's only one move here. The best move is to play rook to E2. Look at this killer move, rook E2. I'm defending the knight through the queen. Now, of course, if you take the queen, it's very similar to the moment before. Queen D6, and that is a fork. Let's just show it. Bang. You go somewhere. Doesn't really matter. I'm defending this. Everything is fine. So, in some way, you can think about this H2 square as a pivot square. I'm pivoting here, and then I'm going to E2 to defend E8. Cool geometry, right? I think it's so cool. But, like I said, chances are a human being is going to take this, and when they do, they get hit with the fork. Okay, now, remember the initial position, we have the queen here, and we looked at 3 other options. There was 1 here, 2 here. I'm going to get the colors wrong. I think this was green. I think this was blue. Okay, we just discounted E6. Is anything different with E3? Well, no, not really, because now I can play rook H2 again. And now if the king takes, we have the same problem. Queen D6 check, and this will be a win for black. But now, in this case, if the king does not take, so let's just say they're playing, I don't know, king G1. They're not really threatening to capture on the next move, but you guess kind of what's going on. I can play rook H3, and I'm attacking this one. And you might say, wait a second here. If I play rook E8, they can now do what? They can play rook takes F3, and look at the tension between these rooks. This is amazing. So if they take, What do? You play rook takes f8, and apparently, if you can hold this, this is a draw. Not so easy, but this is a theoretical draw according to an engine, and of course a table base as well. So, crazy. Now you might say, okay, we went through e3, e6, we haven't gone through b5 or a4. What about the weird looking a4? It looks like kind of strange. You're going to the a file. It's the exact same thing. I'll go through this one a little faster. Rook h2 check. Again, they have to take it. If they don't take it, they play something like this. You can play, if they went here, you can play queen c5, which essentially, again, they have to take it now. If they walk away, you're going to get mated. So they take it, and again, bang. And again, that's a win for black. So what does queen b5 have that the other moves simply don't have? Well, it defends the rook, and that is the key. So when you're thinking in your own games, hey, I have all these different ways to attack the knight. What is the best way? Well, the best way is one that keeps your pieces protected, not necessarily the one that looks the closest or looks the best visually. It's the one that protects your pieces and allows for flexibility for defense. So now in this position, if I play this move, the king can just take this, and there's no threat. You can play queen h4 check, fine. I play king g2. What are you going to do, check me all day? You can't. I'm covering this. What's your next move? Here? I'll just run away. Eventually you'll run out of checks because my queen and my rook are doing a good job. So surprisingly, the best move in this position is rook h4, and you have to pretty much go into this endgame and just fight for a draw. But if you're playing somebody who is this of equal level, chances are you'll not be able to hold this as black. White is winning this by far. After king h7, king g3, I don't know. I would play this, I would imagine, against a computer pretty fine. But they have to move and then just advance your king, push the pawn up the board, and maybe one day give up your queen for the rook if you really have a chance. Or look for forks, right? Squares where the rook is unprotected. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. I really like the puzzle itself. I think it's really instructive. Just the idea of moving to a square that defends your piece in a green color, but attacks the opposing piece, that looks a little less active to me. And I think many people would agree that queen e6 looks like the right move because you're attacking and you're moving forward and it just feels so aggressive. But you have to defend your own camp. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you enjoy the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Again, all that stuff helps me out so much. But that is it for now. Thank you so much. Bye.